So I ended up running out of things to pawn essentially and thinking of how I could either screw someone over or screw the dealer. And I ended up giving him some form of fake money.
So, Graham, I want to thank you for coming on.
Thank you, Kevin.
You are coming up on 18 months of sobriety.
Yes, sir.
You are an opiate head.
I am indeed. That was
cut from the same fabric, my friend.
Junkie.
What? Opiates are the worst, dude.
Yeah.
So hard to come off of.
Yeah.
Detox is
horrible.
What was the worst detox you ever experienced?
Ended up in a New York state-funded methadone detox. Put myself into precipitated withdrawal. Yeah, that was probably the worst. Ended up having, I don't think it was a grand mal seizure, but I seized. I was in the ER. They didn't know what to do with me because I was going into precip. They gave me a Suboxone too early. After being pretty much catatonic on what was just, those little envelope baggies that they would sell in like a clip of 10 in New York. Yeah. I was living in Williamsburg at the time. Would go over to 5th and Bedford where the Puerto Ricans were. I would cop that every day. But yeah, to answer your question, within probably 3 hours of doing that dope, they gave me a Suboxone because I was found kind of on the sidewalk slumped, not fully ODing, but they didn't really know what to do. And I was brought to the hospital, ended up giving me Suboxone and went into immediate precip. And suddenly I found myself being driven by some sort of, I want to say it was a nurse, some RN, and it was in upstate, not like fully upstate New York, but like Yonkers.
Mm-hmm.
And
dude, that's New York City.
It was bizarre, Kevin. So this place, it was almost, imagine like one of those old asylums. Like it looked like a very Gothic building on the outside. And it was, they brought us up to, I think it was either the second or third floor. And the whole detox ward was probably like, I want to say 15,000 square feet, but one open floor layout. And there were no walls. There was just a nursing station in the middle and hospital curtains separating each and every bed. And I mean, you were hearing, just a plethora of noises the whole time. I'm talking people, suffering from mental illness, screaming. It was kind of, it felt like the last place on the block, just a place for every social reject possible. And I think of that memory often, and I definitely, I've really processed it, and that was probably the worst detox from a standpoint of pain and insanity that I went through.
Dude, how old are you?
29.
You're 29. Oh, dude, you look like you're 24.
Really?
23.
You're kidding.
Yeah.
I'll take it, man.
But you know what? All right, so 18 months ago, how old were you when you got sober? 27 or 28?
27 and a half.
27. People getting sober and or clean in your 20s is young.
Yeah.
It's young.
Yeah.
I mean, people experience what you, was that your last stop before you got sober? No, you had another one in you. Okay.
I had one more in me.
Okay. But people experience that and it's not a bottom for them. They think it is, but then there's that trap door.
Oh yeah.
And then they go out for years and years and years, and into your 30s, into your 40s. Well, when this happens, I'll get clean or sober. When that happens, I'll get clean or sober.
Yeah.
When I have my third kid, I'll get clean or sober. And like, it never happens.
Yeah.
So
totally.
Congratulations. And thank you for being an advocate for younger people getting sober.
Most definitely.
For a very long time, I thought the addict, the alcoholic, is the guy laying under the bridge with a huge beard, homeless, and that is not the case.
You and me both.
It's not the case.
My judgment, my spiritual malady was on another level.
Yeah.
I didn't, you know, I was absolutely just to my core materialistic and selfish, prior to finding really the rooms in 12-step recovery and a program of discipline, but more than anything, of faith.
So let's take a step back. Take
Sure.
us through early childhood, where you grew up and what your upbringing was like. Did you have siblings?
Yes, one sibling, Blake. He is today my best friend. Yeah, we're 5 years apart. Early childhood, I had a really just an ideal upbringing. Mom and dad together. You know, a very privileged upbringing. You know, very comfortable, and I had through my mom and dad, you know, guidance. I had morals and principles instilled in me for sure from a young age. I remember going to cotillion every, you know, I forgot if it was winter or spring. We would do something where you'd get dressed up in a suit and you learn how to, you know, say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, and please and thank you. But regardless, upbringing was, you know, ideal, very, very normal. Nothing out of the ordinary, nothing that would distinguish that I would suffer from, you know, opiate addiction or any form of addiction for that matter. You know, nothing in the family directly. So yeah.
Did you play sports growing up?
Soccer.
Big soccer guy?
As a matter of fact, so I started off as a sailor. Funny enough.
You look like a sailor.
Yep.
It's the hair, dude.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
And the collar.
I'll take any compliment I can get. Yeah. I like it. I'm all day on eBay, Etsy, First Dibs. I'm a big vintage guy. Yeah.
Love
Yeah.
it.
I appreciate it. But originally sailed, and that was kind of something I had to do because of my grandfather, and at the time my family wanted me to do it. Ended up finding soccer through my middle school and fell in love with it. Was so bad at first, had no coordination, but I trained my ass off and I really committed to it. And then high school came around, and I found that even though I was friends with, I would call it the stereotypical, quote unquote, popular crowd, I still felt like a little bit of an outsider. I liked writing. I liked movies. I liked indie music, you know, and for that reason, I became a bit of a, you know, whether you want to call it a rebel or just someone that was very stereotypically walking around with a chip on their shoulder for no reason. So there's probably the early signs, you know.
What was it that you felt a little bit like an outsider? Was it because of your interests?
I would say it was because of my interests. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was probably.
What were kids interested in that you weren't interested in when you were that age?
I know this is going to sound bad, but the way I almost interpret it is like a lack of interest. It was more of just like a, you know, vanilla, sports, and yeah, just a more basic.
What your
mindset.
Traditional like alpha male would be interested in.
I guess that's a great way to put it. That's a great way to put it.
And also, too, you didn't say where do you grew up in South Florida?
Yes. So I grew up in Miami in a little neighborhood called Coconut Grove.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, And again, it was beautiful, peachy, ideal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so middle school, high school, are you trying to find your identity?
Oh, definitely.
What does that look like?
I was such a chameleon. I mean, I, in high school, I went from being initially this athlete solely focused and committed to soccer, and then kind of fell out of grace with my club team and with my high school team, and was so upset because I was a JV player rather than a varsity player.
Mm.
And I could only practice sometimes with the varsity team. So, and a few of my childhood best friends at the time, they were varsity players, from freshman year. So that competitive, I definitely had that competitiveness in me.
Yeah.
And without a doubt, jealousy.
Yeah, of course.
know?
Were you dabbling with alcohol and drugs at that point when you were in high school? One thing I've learned through recovery is that drugs, alcohol, and gambling, those are symptoms. The real work is what's underneath it. Anxiety, trauma, depression, the pain we try to numb. That's one of the reasons I partnered with Compassion Behavioral Health. They don't just treat the behavior, they focus on the mental health side of recovery. Compassion is intentionally boutique sized, so treatment is individualized, not one size fits all. They offer a full continuum of care, from detox through outpatient and even virtual support. And alongside evidence-based therapies, they also provide innovative treatments like TMS, neurofeedback, and EMDR when appropriate. Because lasting recovery isn't just about removing a substance, it's about addressing what's driving it. If you or someone you love is struggling with addiction or mental health, this is a structured, stigma-free place to start. They're in-network with major insurance providers and available 24/7. Call or text 844-443-5669. That's 844-443-5669, or visit compassionbehavioralhealth.com.
So I would say pot, weed came in ninth grade. Occasionally, I remember my first sip of alcohol ever was at a friend's house, and we ended up going to like a bar mitzvah. So we were like 14. But to answer your question, it started with weed, and then by the time I was in 10th grade, we were partying and drinking on the weekends for sure. Nothing was out of hand necessarily. People were blacking out, but it wasn't completely out of hand.
Mm.
And then by junior year came the Xanax.
Ooh.
And people started putting Xanax in wine bottles and liquor
Ooh.
bottles, and parties got a little bit more blurry, and things got a little more dangerous,
Zanzibars.
Yeah, exactly.
Were you doing Xanny bars?
I was.
Man, those things are fucking dangerous.
They are. One of my favorite things that I've ever heard, and it's a quote in my book, actually. I heard a guy in group one day say, they were like, okay, guys, so what the group facilitator asked, like, what is, the worst substance on earth in your opinion, drug-wise? And he said, without a doubt, it's Xanax, alprazolam. And she was like, why? Why? And she goes, he goes, have you ever heard of Wawa? And she was like, yeah. And he's like, Xanax, walk away with anything. They're larceny pills. So it's kind of a stupid joke, but
no, I actually think that's on point.
Yeah.
I used to commit crimes when I did Xanax.
Would you really?
Yeah.
Oh, so you had a little arrow with them also.
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I did. I was primarily an opiate guy.
Yeah, me too.
And then always drank, but opiates were number one. But every once in a while, every like once a month, my friends would come around with Xanax bars. Like, I wasn't going out and buying Xanny bars. I was going out and buying Oxycontin.
Yeah,
that's where my money was going.
Me
but
as well.
Like, if people had Xanny bars, like I would take like 2 of them and I would black out.
Oh, totally.
For someone who didn't take Xanax on the regular, 2 bars would fucking knock you off your feet.
Oh,
and
100%.
I used to, dude, yeah, I would just do bad shit.
Yeah.
Fights, like stealing, whatever. go to parties and just steal shit from the house. It's fucked
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
But okay, so you go on Xanax junior year.
Mm-hmm.
Do you graduate college on time?
No.
I'm sorry. Do you graduate high school?
I graduated high school on time, yes.
Okay. Sorry,
Yes.
jumped a big step. So do you go on to college?
Go on to college.
Where do you go for college?
I initially go to Emerson College
Mhm.
to major in journalism. Another sign that I was, I had a lot of spiritual malady was that I ended up being recruited to play college soccer for Emerson. Mind you, I was a JV soccer player that by the time, again, that it was my junior year, I was really, crossing that line of addiction and alcoholism for sure. And I didn't even end up playing soccer my senior year, yet I showed up to Emerson soccer, their preseason, and I ended up playing for about a month and a half before the coach said, "What is wrong with you? You've lied. You are not in shape." I don't know. So let me backtrack. I basically, on paper, had played for a few club teams and from my high school soccer team that had won states. And on paper, it looked really good, but I rode the bench for those teams. And on my high school team, I didn't even play varsity soccer. I didn't even go in 1 minute. I might have rode the bench for 3 or 4 games, but didn't, didn't play at all.
Mm.
So he wanted me to admit to him, the coach of Emerson, that I had lied and that I basically, yeah, maybe you did play on these teams at one point, but just admit that, you lied. I couldn't admit it. I said, no, this is your problem. I'm fine. And yeah, wasn't good.
Did they boot you off the team?
Immediately. I kept the jerseys. That was cool. Yeah.
So, okay, then you become a full-time student.
Became a full-time student, was completely uncommitted to college. I had a girlfriend at the time that lived in the city. So I would take the Amtrak to New York City every single weekend. Didn't give Boston a chance whatsoever. And was partying in New York with her,
Mm.
So
What year was this roughly?
This must have been 2015 to 2016.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good times in New York City.
Good times.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, Kevin, that's not really where the story is just slightly beginning, because within 1 year I transfer and end up at University of Miami. Probably did not deserve to get in,
Mhm.
but it happened. It's where I'm from, and had a very lucky to have a connection to help me get in. So got in, and I was like, I need a reset. By then, drugs and alcohol by no means had taken over my life, and I hadn't found opiates at all yet.
Mm-hmm.
But I was definitely struggling. I was thinking I had mental health issues like anxiety, slight depression when hungover,
Mm-hmm.
But as I'm sure you can relate, they were all substance-induced mental health issues.
Always is.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're at Miami.
Yeah.
How does that go? So it's your sophomore year,
Yes.
but is it really your freshman year? Did you even go to class at Emerson?
I got from Emerson, I ended up getting, I believe, either 6 credits or 9 credits.
Okay.
Something like
almost a half a semester, roughly.
that. Yeah.
Nice.
Almost. Yeah.
Okay. So you're like halfway through your freshman year, essentially.
Yeah.
Okay. You go to Miami. How
Yeah.
does that go?
Off to the races. I mean, every 4 nights a week going out, clubbing. South Beach, the Brickell area, just partying. End up meeting and mind you, the reason I jumped right into it was because I already had so many friends, childhood friends that had stayed behind, and either were going to U Miami or just were constantly in town. And we had already been going out since we were 16. That's something I didn't really brush over, but that was another identity that I had when I was younger. I was like this, not necessarily club rat, but I tried being not Mr. Miami, but
Mr. Nightlife.
Mr. Nightlife.
Yep.
For sure. So yeah, partying in Miami, from the second I started partying in Miami, and really that's when Xanax got a little bit. I amped up the Xanax because my hangovers were just killer all the time. So I was just constantly trying to nurse this hangover, that never went away.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay, so you're doing Xanax. Now, what happened with the girlfriend in New York? Did you guys break up?
We broke up.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you moved to Miami.
We broke up when I moved to Miami.
Okay.
Yeah. She ended up going off to college and at UPenn, and yeah, we parted ways. It was pretty amicable, actually.
Yeah. Okay, so take us through junior year now at University of Miami. Do things keep ramping up after the Xanax?
Things definitely kept ramping up. Things got a little more interesting, though, because by then I had really found my steady, what I would call, base of best friends. And we had our own little group. 3 or 4 of them went to U Miami. I was living with 2 of them. Great guys still to this day. And we were traveling constantly. I was out of the country once a month between Bahamas. We would take trips to London. Always we would do winter in this little town in Switzerland called Gstaad.
Some life, dude.
It was full throttle.
Now, are your friends using like you as well?
Not like me.
Okay, but
Not
are they
like me.
dabbling with Xanax? Or the boys like, what are they doing? Just drinking primarily?
I would say just drinking primarily. There was always some cocaine around.
Yep.
Just in general. But this friend group was, also on a larger social scale. We were meeting in similar places, and I would say that larger scale friend group was really doing, not constantly doing hard drugs, but they were around.
Yeah.
You just had to stay out past probably 1:30 in the morning and
Afters.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So, all right. Do you end up graduating from University of Miami?
So I end up getting what is the equivalent of an associate's degree in project management from U Miami by the skin of my teeth with like 70 something credits. And that itself was a lie, though, because I remember when my mom and dad were like, mainly my mom was like, when are we going to go to your graduation? And I was like, no, we're not going to. The diploma is just going to come in the mail. And I did get a diploma, but it wasn't a bachelor's degree.
Yes, an associate's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was just a liar.
Yeah.
Through and through.
Yeah, manipulating.
Yeah, completely.
And once we get away with it, it comes natural to us.
Yes.
People who struggle with addiction, it just comes natural to us.
It doesn't.
And once we get away with it, then we do another one, then another one, then another one.
Yeah.
A very similar story.
Yeah.
Okay, so you get your associate's degree. Has anyone around you, friends, family, has anyone said to you, hey, Graham, you might be partying a little too much. We may think you have a problem. Or were you able to really hide what was going on?
Without a doubt, the people that were nearest and dear to me were fully psyched out and knew I was partying too much,
Mm.
but they didn't know what was going on when I was isolating.
Yeah.
And at that point, though, to really thoroughly answer your question, I wasn't fully isolating, so things did look a bit more normal. So that down the line really allowed me to hide my opiate addiction. That was hidden and
Mhm.
really closeted for 3 years probably
Yeah.
after that, you know?
Okay, so you get your associate's degree. What do you do after that? You start working?
Yes. So started shadowing an employee of my father's at one of his companies
What
in
industry?
aviation.
Okay.
Yeah, commercial aviation, and specifically a division that was leasing commercial engines for logistics cargo on
Mhm.
like 727, 747s, older Pratt and Whitney engines. And I will say that during that period of time, I was going into the bathroom daily, offsite, and using 30s.
Okay, so this is the start of your 30
Yeah,
opiate use. The
yeah,
Roxy 30s,
yeah,
the blues.
yeah,
Oh man, those were the death of me.
yeah. That was the beginning of everything.
Did you were Oxycontins were gone by the time you started doing opiates, huh?
Well, so they were the M box 30s,
Yep.
the K9s.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
V script.
yes, occasionally
I
the
hated
V.
those, but whatever.
Yeah, yeah, I did as well.
Yeah.
I ended up, and what really progressed the addiction to a whole nother beast was when I began smoking them.
Mm.
That's what just did it.
So if we could back up a little
Yeah,
bit, can you take us through how you ended up making the transition over to opiates?
yeah. I remember the day, um, and mind you, I can say that I had a couple of experience with opioids in general prior to this specific experience, post graduating from Miami, and it was nothing like this though because I knew what I was doing. The prior 2-3 experiences were late night, drunk, didn't really know what it was, but it was a high school like mutual friend. I was dating this girl at the time, this Venezuelan girl, and she rolled with a big crew of like Miami Venezuelans. They just stick together.
Mm-hmm.
Really kind people, all of them, by the way, but nonetheless, one of these guys that I mutually knew from high school, we were just talking we were all at a bar in Brickell in Miami, and he ends up somehow bringing up Oxy, and I was like, "Oh man, yeah, I think I've tried it, but I can't really say what it feels like." And he's like, "Yeah, the stereotypical. I mean, if I had a nickel for every time I've heard this, I'd be a rich man. Have you ever seen Limitless with Bradley Cooper? That's what this is gonna make you feel like." It was like, you know, that thing. And I was like, wow, that is so cheesy, but count me in, brother.
I'm in.
I'm in. Say less. Um, so it happened. It was a fourth. It was a just a
Quarter.
quarter,
Quarter of a blue.
quarter of a blue,
7.5 milligrams.
7.5 mil. And that became such a ritual too. Keeping it in your wallet, breaking off what started as a quarter ended up being a whole, and taking a card and just creating powder
Yeah.
and you know
I used to prep it night of and put it like in straws.
really.
Yeah. So this is fucked up. I used to have to do, towards the end, it was 10 in one shot. Yeah, bro.
10.
10 blues. Yeah, dude.
Wow.
Like that's what I needed to get high.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I mean, I'm sure smoking, hit you harder? So like smoking one is like sniffing 3 or 4.
The bioavailability though,
Yeah.
you're getting much more of it
Mhm.
into your, you're metabolizing more of it. The smoke really, it's really like the crack of opiates, like
Mhm.
smoking, them, because it's just this constant 30-minute high and then it's gone,
Yeah.
and I wanted to say that one thing that I just so heavily relate to, and I can think back to the beginning of my recovery and watching your podcast and never relating to something more than when you said that when you tried opiates, rather than this nodding, lethargic, slumping effect, you were like ADHD, just all in, ready to go,
Mhm.
ready to do whatever it is that you want, ready to take the world on.
Dude, if you gave me opiates, if I sniffed blues or any types of opiates, it was like I would just smoke crack. I'm like, blah, 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 talking to everyone,
Yeah.
cleaning everything, closing the bar down, helping them clean the bar. Oh, you have a flat tire? No problem. Let's go out there and fix it. Like insanity,
Yeah.
like pure insanity. I had the reverse effect.
Yeah.
I would get so much fucking energy and I would just while out.
Yeah.
But that's funny that you heard that.
I was the same way, and it resonated so much with me. And I mean, conversation like this is what keeps me even keel. It's what keeps me in a positive frame of mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so this guy introduces you to Roxy Blues.
Yes.
And where does it go from there? Do you start doing them like right off the bat every day?
I start doing them off the bat every day. I would say, it wouldn't exceed 2 pills a day. I'm doing quarters, maybe a half at a time. And I remember the first time I had progressed to the half, it was like, dude, you want to talk about changing tires? I'll freaking swap your engine, no problem. Do whatever you want. Nonetheless, I ended up really trying to find my own plug for them. Constantly. That was the issue. This mutual friend had the real connect. And I knew some people from my college friend group, that more, jet set crowd, that I could mutually ask, but I didn't want them to know, because it's just like that environment is, everyone's turning their heads constantly. It's like, a tabloid at all times environment. So I'm driving him to the dealer's house probably once every 3 days to re-up, because we're buying small amounts, 3-4 pills at a time. I'm not sure, why he was only buying that amount, but I didn't want to look like a baser and buy more, even though I wanted more. So it kind of got to that point where I was sick and tired of driving him. And one day I knew exactly where it was. And I don't want to go into too much detail just because of the circumstances of this guy, but I will tell it with an anonymous perspective. But it's an Opalaka. I remember it like the back of my hand. I mean, you could, at one point in time, blindfold me. I could have gotten there, no problem. Because I was driving there twice a day, every day, for probably 3 years of my life, 2.5 years of my life. I waited outside of his house, this guy, this dealer, and just begged someone was going to walk out, and I could be like, please let me in. Let me in. I'm this guy's friend. You can trust me. And mind you, this wasn't your standard, this wasn't, the dope boy on the block. This was a pharmacy. This was someone that had whatever you needed in just about any quantity. which is what I would come to learn later. So, end up waiting outside probably for like 5 hours. Nothing. No one there. Starting to get dope sick even. And I don't even know what withdrawing is yet, but I can look back on it and say, it wasn't normal that I was sweating profusely and cold and hot at the same time. But finally, someone came out. I begged. I must have looked like truly a dope fiend, But nonetheless, they let me in. I immediately got his number. Within 1 week, I had went from, probably consuming no more than 5 pills a day to smoking upwards of 15 a day, and re-upping constantly on a daily basis.
You got into it was an apartment complex, right?
No, this was actually a house.
A house. So you begged the person who came out. Was that the dealer who came out of the house, or was it someone related to the dealer?
Someone related.
Okay. And then they let you in the house.
Yeah.
And then you met the dealer.
Yeah.
What did the dealer say to you? Was he like, who the fuck are you?
Yes.
And then what did you say?
I said, I'm friends with
so-and-so.
This guy. Please, you can trust me. It's no problem. And I think he just sensed that I was, a very innocent white boy. And somehow he let it happen. He let it slide. And that was the death of me. That started it all, to just the umpteenth degree. I mean, I'm sure, knowing myself, that I would have found the route. I would have found someone, but this was, again, Kevin, I mean, this was a wild environment. I had never seen anything like this in my life. I mean, I'm talking anything you want.
Okay, what year is this?
This is
when you meet him.
I must have been 22. So 2017?
Okay.
2017?
Okay, so 2017.
Something like that.
Okay, so you're connected with him. You're buying, you're smoking them.
Yeah.
Any repercussions?
Any repercussions?
Like, were you arrested? Were you running out of money? Were you doing shit to make money to get blues? Like, what were you? Quick break to remind you that if you or a loved one are struggling, you don't have to do it alone. Compassion Behavioral Health offers world-class mental health and addiction treatment. Give them a call at 844-443-5669 or visit compassionbehavioralhealth.com. Help is waiting. Now back to the episode.
Oh, yeah. So at that point, man, I will say I ended up pretty much liquidating I had 2 bank accounts. One that was, one that when I turned 18, it was like an ETF kind of fund that my grandfather had given me, and sold all the ETFs off, liquidated it, and, spent it all within probably a week, 2 weeks time. I mean, we were just speaking prior, and, the habit got up to well over, or just around 2,500 a day. I mean, without a doubt, it was reaching those numbers. I mean, it was 35 for a pill.
You were paying $35 for a blue?
When I ended up buying like 20 at a time, I think he brought it down to 32. Yeah.
Oh man, you were getting this guy rich.
It was absurd.
Yeah.
It was absurd. I wasn't thinking about money at all.
Yeah.
So
take us through, how long are you doing this for? How long were you doing blues in total?
Oof. The blues must have been, I would say, 3.5 years.
Okay.
3.5.
Okay. And then you got sober a year and a half ago from blues? Or okay. I'll let you talk. Dad. Sorry. Let's talk about the transition.
It gets worse.
Go ahead. I'll let you take the stage.
Well, so one thing I didn't touch on was that, I was holding down a semblance of a normal life. Um, I was flipping watches at the time in Miami. I had a good family friend that had a really awesome vintage watch company. And I was always trading up, had really amassed a nice little collection, and it was a side thing, but still assets and,
Mhm.
things I really had. And, you know, I I love these things, even though they're material possessions, I still can appreciate, certain things in life. But as we both know, um, opiates took priority over everything. And I didn't even recognize that yet. Like, I didn't even, that language, that like recovery based language didn't even make sense to me yet. Well, it just was foreign to me,
Mhm.
knew nothing. Didn't know what was happening to myself, really, if I was being totally transparent about looking back on it. Liquidated all the watches, liquidated every bank account I had, drained it, went from, between smoking 20 to 25 blues a day. Um, then the day finally came where he actually had ran out of them. And I did not want to do, Dilaudid or he had like oxymorphone and like all these like random other pills. Um, I said, "What else do you have?" And he's like, "Heroin. It's good." Like I can't. I'm not even gonna do the voice. But this was a dangerous crowd, dangerous place. Um, I was in, and ended up doing, you know, brown heroin. I think it's heroin number 1 or 2 for the first time, and that was it. That that was something that, to this day I pray on. And if there is a drug dream that occurs, it's of that. And it was just everything you hear.
You sniffed it the first time you did it?
I smoked it.
You smoked it the first
Yeah,
time? Oh, wow.
yeah, yeah.
What was that feeling like compared to a Roxy Blue?
You know, it was just there. It's so hard to put words on it, you know. And it's not to glorify it in any way, shape, or form. It's just the reality of what it is. It's euphoria. It's warmth. It's that um, proverbial blanket over you, hugging you, wrapping you that never had before. You know,
Mm.
the ultimate hug.
Yeah. Okay. Do you ever go back to blues at this point, or do you just ride it out?
Super funny. Within like 2 weeks, I was like, I can't do this. This is crazy. Like I had like for maybe 10 minutes, like a very jaded reality check going on where like I was like, I need to fix my life and get back on blues. Buy some from him. Didn't even hit the receptors. I mean, I felt like I was just drinking some water, nothing. Crazy. Crazy how dangerous.
Okay. So you get right back on heroin.
Yeah.
What year is this roughly?
This is 2019.
Okay, so
Yeah.
2019.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you you're smoking heroin?
Mhm.
Where does it go from there?
It really continues with that. Just smoking the the heroin from this specific dealer, and then COVID hits. And mind you, I had a place in Brooklyn in Williamsburg that I was living with my childhood best friend. So I was always coming back and forth between Miami and Williamsburg. So, I'm not really proud of this, but I was traveling, on commercial planes most of the time with this stuff. And not good.
Did you find a guy in New York though to use or
No.
plug?
So I ended up finding a guy in New York to use once I burned that dealer.
Okay, how did you burn the dealer?
It's not good.
Tell us the whole story from beginning to end.
So it gets to a point with this dealer where, I mean, I'm not going to say it's like I'm family, but that situation where, I'm seeing this individual every day of my life, usually 2 times a day, because of how much of a baser I am at this point. But there's like, again, it's definitely not friendship, but I'm good for my money every time. I'm not, at this point, I'm so uh, just young, and what I'm trying to get at is I would never ask for a front. I was always good for my money and would pay up. And I was a very, at that time, still innocent, unaware, jaded, just white boy. And they, I think, love that in a sense. I was like a maybe not a cash cow, but, I was definitely, I was paying them. And they trusted me to an extent, clearly, because what ended up happening when I didn't fully go broke, but it got to the point where I started pawning possessions, like I was selling my not only watches, but like jewelry and, just anything. And they said, you want to make this easier. We got this bag that we need you to take to Broward County. And I'm in Opelika. It's not that far. So I would drive this bag that they would zip tie. Usually it was just a duffel um, that they would zip tie, and then it was like a larger, like a thicker zip tie, and they would put some sort of like, it almost looked like they were drawing their signature on it. I think they wanted to make sure I wasn't breaking it, which I wouldn't. I mean, I wouldn't dare. But at the same time, have you ever seen the movie No Country for Old Men?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of, I would every now and then I would get a little high and look at the bag while I'm driving up to Broward and be like, what if?
Mm-hmm.
This would be wild. Didn't do that though. But I would do that for them and drive it up to another house. And it was like mind you, these two homes like were not necessarily completely unassuming. I mean, there was a lot of activity, a lot of nice cars, and just that kind of behavior going on outside of them, but nothing crazy. It wasn't like totally Section 8, like obvious.
Mm-hmm.
So I that's how I justified it on my head. But I would do this, and they would break me off probably like a G or two of dope, and um, I ended up one time smoking a little too much and nodding out, and I fell asleep with it in my car. And I ended up missing like a drop deadline, not a drop deadline. It wasn't like I wasn't like a full on mule, it wasn't like this operation where it was a crazy distance. I'm not crossing a border, but he got upset at me, and it ended up being a situation where he wouldn't break me off anything, and then I ended up going back home, and from there I was like, fuck, what can I like? I lost that opportunity to continue driving the bags for them, basically, and because they were like, you're becoming a full on baser, you can't do this anymore. So I was like back to the drawing boards of now, it was my first real experience with being a bona fide junkie and having to, think up of how I'm going to get my next fix. So I ended up running out of things to pawn, essentially, and thinking of how I could either screw someone over or screw the dealer. And I ended up giving him some form of fake money. And yeah, it wasn't good.
What kind of fake money?
Well, it was full on, from what I understand, like prop money. Like it wasn't like some counter. I didn't have like a connection to get like
Yeah.
counterfeit money.
Yeah,
It was just fake money, completely. But the guy, there was still, again, like I still can't put a number on the amount of money at the time that I'd spent with him. But I mean, God knows,
Yeah.
you would think he would even forgive me for that opportunity. I mean, for that one mistake I made, it was, probably $150 worth of dope, compared to all of that spending. But burn that bridge completely.
Did he call you immediately after you gave F?
Yeah, within maybe 10 minutes of leaving.
What did you say?
Yeah. Oh, I refused to answer the phone.
And then did you eventually circle back with him later on to get
you
more dope?
don't even want to know.
Oh, I do want to know.
Okay. This is a little later in the story when it gets to a point where my parents and my mom has like told me a little bit about it before. My dad refuses to talk about it, but a private investigator was following me.
Yeah.
And because it got to a point where they wanted me to go to rehab. I refused. It was COVID. I had my own place in New York, so I could like run away there.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I like preferred to live at home because my plug was there.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up, really getting in a bad way one day. I met up with with actually the same mutual friend that had introduced me to 30s. And I was like, dude, I need a plug. Like I burned, this person. He's like, what? Are you kidding me? And it wasn't good. But either way, he ended up giving me a Xanax. And God, it was one of these fake. Do you remember these fake ones that were 3-prong green?
Yes, I know exactly which ones you're talking about.
The Incredible Hulks. It was a nightmare. God, those would send me into a coma. But either way, so that happened. Ended up taking one of those and being so, I can still remember it though, actually. I went to his place and knocked on his door. Yeah, I just went. I was crying. Because I realized at that point, oh my God, I just, ruined the most solid, streamlined plug I had and now I know will ever find. Obviously, now that that's all over. But
did they answer the door?
Oh, so it was, again, it was very unassuming, but it was obvious. It was a trap. It was a trap house. And there were multiple Ring cameras set up along it. And there were actually 3 doors to get in. 3, like one of those like screen doors, then a door, and then another bolted metal door. Mm-hmm. It was a proper operation. These guys weren't playing around. And I heard I'm not a huge gun guy. I wouldn't know what it sounded like, but I heard the cocking of a gun, and just in a Haitian voice, Graham, it's no more, man. It's done. It's done. Just like that. And I still, because I was so selfish and such a child, but I was begging like a baby still after that. And then I heard nothing. It got to the point where it was just silence. And by the grace of God, nothing happened. But I mean, what a stupid decision, man.
You are very lucky nothing happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've dealt with, they were Venezuelan. What were they from?
They were Haitian.
Haitian, sorry. Yeah. The Venezuelan guy hooked you up with them. Yes.
Yeah.
I've dealt with some shicey people. and no more. Like that hits, man. Like no more. It's done.
Yeah.
And you know behind those doors, all the heroin you need, all the opiates you need is in that house.
The golden ticket.
Oh man. Okay, so you go on, your parents start to catch on.
Parents start to catch on.
Yeah, I know we jumped ahead with the follow-up with the guy, but like I guess just to backtrack a little bit, your parents start to catch on. You're walking around, you're probably nodding off. It's very visible.
Very
what do you
visible.
look like physically?
I would weighed $135, probably. Which to my, by no means defense, but it was just my reality at that time. I always was thin. My brother to this day he's taller. He's like 6'2", 6'3", but he's very thin, very lanky. So I got away with the weight aspect, but my eyes were just rocked, man, at all times, you know, so rocked, you know.
Yeah.
And it got to a point, I started dating this girl from Miami that was a little bit younger than me. And she loved cocaine. So I was secretly doing the H, and we were, you know, blowing it down to almost, I mean, every second we were together. And that didn't necessarily save me, but it made me have a semblance of a life. I was outside in public somewhat, but no, nothing was normal. Nothing was normal, and I was hanging on by a thread, you know?
Why don't you take us through the last few months before you ultimately get sober 18 months ago?
Oof.
Unless there is something that you want to cover in between.
Yeah. No, I think there is something I want to cover in between, and it's kind of going full circle with where we started off with that detox experience, because, you know, we've kind of explained everything up until the point that I was introduced to the world of treatment, the American treatment rehab complex, you know? And yeah, my first experience was right after I was dating that girl at a center in Palm Beach. I don't want to name any names just because of anonymity for my book. But yeah, the first time I went to treatment, I was so unbelievably jaded and hated everyone around me and judged them and thought they were scum. And at the same time, though, like I'm a very, I like to think creative person, and I love stories, and I just love, like, I've never experienced anything, and I still get nostalgic about it to this day, sitting around a smoking area in a treatment center. It's like, for me, the stories that are told, the poetry that's told, it's so beautiful. It really is. And that's really what I would look, not necessarily forward to when I would go back into treatment, but, you know, I loved that. But to answer your question, what the last few months after, you know, what led to really my ultimate demise was I had gotten out of what was probably my fourth inpatient residential. Detoxes, I can't tell you how many. I mean, I've been to. But I started dating a girl, rehab romance, move her in to my parents' house within 1 month after getting out of treatment together. Sober, but by no means sober. I'm on 8 milligrams of Suboxone, you know, asking my doctor to up it, of course, to 16. That was just the mindset I was in. I was not ready to recover in any way. The 4 inpatients that I had been to prior that would, teach a group on 12-step, I would completely, put the info in one ear, out the other. Didn't give it any chance. Didn't listen to anything. And so I'm dating this girl. We decide to move to a little town outside Tallahassee called Monticello because I had not necessarily begged, but I'd proven to my dad by putting on not necessarily a facade, but I was waking up at a decent hour. I would go to work with him, and at least I was like proving regiment and routine somewhat. At home.
Structure, consistency, showing up, all the above. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. And that really, though, was just so I could get the cookie. I wasn't doing it for myself. I was doing it so that my family would get me a place and I could live with this girl and, play house and keeping up with the Joneses,
But why Tallahassee?
So at this point, I'm really enamored with her, and just like it's blind love. I am a helpless romantic, I will admit. But Tallahassee, because my dad's company, he had a branch of the company in this warehouse up there, and I kind of wanted to be. I was at least thinking for the first time in this manner that was like, if I stay in Miami, I may die. And if I go back to New York, to the city, I'm even more likelihood of dying because I'm like, walking through, some bad areas and constantly, trying to buy dope. So wasn't good. So that's why I wanted to move over there, just to be in that environment.
So do you guys make the move?
We made the move.
This is definitely a complete disaster.
Oh, you have no idea.
All right, what happens? You move in with this girl, and how long is this after rehabs? How long were you at your parents' house for with her?
No more than 2 months.
Okay, so like roughly 3 months. You're out of treatment. You're on Suboxone.
Yeah.
Is she on Suboxone too? Was she an opiate girl?
She was a benzo addict.
Benzo.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys moved to Tallahassee. Take us through the whole.
Well, Tallahassee, to begin with, interesting place. Not really my environment. I'll tell you that much. Nothing there for me at all. It was a completely blind decision. Monticello, even less. I mean, I'm talking, you could see like whatever you call those dust balls, rolling through the town. So within 1 month, I'm going into smoke shops and trying to find research chemicals. That's what happens, really, And it wasn't for any particular reason. It wasn't because she ticked me off, or there was a crisis, a moment of crisis, or a moment of like, F it, I want to use. It was more of a, how can I get away with using? Just my total selfish, insidious nature, and not being ready to be sober, period.
What kind of research chemicals are you getting from smoke shops?
So Governor DeSantis had to put a immediate stop order ban on them about a year ago. It's called tianeptine. Have you ever heard of it?
No, I've heard of kratom.
Mhm.
I've heard of 7-OH.
Oh, yeah.
Is this the same stuff?
This is, I don't know how many times worse, but much worse. Much worse.
Than 7-OH?
They were comparing it to methadone, even. I mean, it was killing. It was causing people to overdose and die. That's why DeSantis, was able to successfully stop order ban it immediately.
Can you tell us, like, you were taking this and like, what was it like?
Brutal. It was, I would say for 1 month, it gave me that real rush effect that you and I both experience as individuals with severe ADHD.
Mm-hmm.
But you would end up being in a total stupor within, an hour of that.
Mm-hmm.
So it made you really catatonic. And tianeptine is actually the only place it is used in pharmacology is Russia as a antidepressant. Actually, uh, they alter the chemical somehow to make it, act on whatever receptors are depression based, but or cause depression. But either way, in the States, they were selling this like pure tianeptine powder. Some of the brands at the time were Zaza Red, TD Red, all these BS, just, exactly the marketing and branding of what you're seeing today with 70H and, which really sickens me, by the way. I mean, how it's just so branded towards looking like a dietary supplement. It's not a drug. It should be branded as a drug.
Yeah. So
But-
you're using this. Are you
Yeah.
using it behind her back?
Of course.
Okay. And what continues to happen?
I continue to be, probably 3-4 days a week. She catches me nodding off completely, being catatonic. And she ends up, and from what I understand, what she told me, what causes her to really not, she had already relapsed on benzos. She was using them through a doctor, but she was taking them as prescribed. When she found out about the tianeptine, she was taking the whole script within, a 10-day window. So things got really out of hand, more so on the 20 days of the month she didn't have them, So it was chaos.
How long did you guys make it in that house?
Somehow we made it about 10 months. I don't know how.
Were you guys both active the whole time?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Do you end up getting off the Suboxone and then just getting dope?
Oh, yeah. Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Before I get sober, yeah, I do.
I would have been like, fuck that.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
want this shit.
Yeah, it was it got to a point with the tianeptine where I was taking, 3 bottles of it at a time. It would come with like 15 capsules in it. Because there was this stuff it truly is a research chemical. There was no instructions on it, I didn't know what I was doing, and I just wanted to feel the effect of escape, the opioid effect.
All right. So take us through, you get back on heroin. How does that happen?
Yeah, well, interesting enough, and I will say, and I wanted to note this at some point, one thing that really, looking back on it, fascinates me, but in the moment was really scary, was that I remember losing that pharmacy dealer, the one that I burned. I remember losing him, and that was, my heroin plug. And this was, again, it was brown, either Afghan or Mexican heroin. Not the variant that's like tar or white. It was whatever that stuff is. Within like a 4-month window of that, of burning that bridge and going to rehab for the first time, by the time I get out and seek out dope again, it's fentanyl. It's fentanyl. I'm asking for heroin, but it's fentanyl. So
What year was this when you went back on heroin or fentanyl rather?
yeah, this was 2021.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was it like doing fentanyl?
Horrible, honestly. Just wouldn't give me what I was searching for. It doesn't resemble even relatively the effect of the 30 or what euphoria heroin was giving me. It was a pure, just total coma. Just you're out, you wake up, and you're not immediately sick, but you just got to keep using.
Yeah. Okay. So after Tallahassee, where do you go?
After Tallahassee, this is where things get weird. I end up going to a treatment center that is somewhat close, or like the most relatively close one, to Tallahassee, in Umatilla, Florida. I'm talking the boonies. No, just nothing, for within 50 miles in either direction. End up there, and the closest town or city to Umatilla was Jacksonville. And my ex, well, yes, my now ex, but at the time, that girl that I was with in that house in Tallahassee, she ends up, uh, you know, going to a psych ward to because she had ran out of benzos. She was, by the way, throughout that whole period of time, in and out of institutions, because of just the benzo misuse. So that was also a tough one, just dealing with that. But either way, she waits for me and is still madly in love with me, and to a degree, I'm madly in love with her. We're just a total nightmare. We're both actively using and have no maturity in us whatsoever. So she ends up driving my truck to me in Umatilla because she still had it at the time. And we go to Jacksonville to a mental health sober living that the psych ward case manager in Tallahassee had arranged for her. When I tell you that this house I was living in could have been like a avant-garde horror movie, it was like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest mixed with like I don't even know, just like just hell.
Nurse Ratchet.
Yes, just I mean, bed bugs and cockroaches,
Disaster.
just disaster. Just house probably should have been
Shut down.
exactly flop house.
Where do you guys go from there?
Oh man, from there I find through that, and of course I'm sure you can relate to this in some capacity at least. I find a dope dealer, a fentanyl dealer, through a guy I met in rehab in Umatilla.
Oh yeah.
In Detox. One experience I have to note in that rehab that I'm not proud of, but it happened. I met a girl in there that she was an artist and was getting markers and paintbrushes brought in to the Detox by her husband every other day, like new colors and small numbers of them at a time. She was smuggling fentanyl through the pens. Her husband was opening up the pens and, putting the dope in it.
I don't get it.
Crazy.
I get it, but I don't fucking get it.
Yeah.
What your husband is fucking.
Yeah.
That's.
You want to hear what's even worse? She was on probation and court ordered there. And she was doing this. Imagine that. It just goes to show the insanity of the disease, man.
Yeah.
So I did some in there.
Yeah. All right. So let's go to like a couple months before you get sober.
Gotcha.
Where are you? What is it like towards the end of the road? And then how do you ultimately end up getting sober?
I would say, so I'm in South Carolina on the border of Savannah, Georgia, and another town called Hardyville. And I, at this point, have fully lost my mind. I'm living in my car, my truck, going from motel to motel. I found a dope dealer in Hardyville and one in Savannah, and just going back and forth, just driving. And at that time, and I will say that the sole reason I was doing any sort of speed at that time was because the fentanyl was that, I wouldn't even necessarily call it potent. It was just that miserable. It would just put you in such a stupor that if you didn't do some sort of speed, you were going to fall asleep, period. No getting out of it. So yeah, that, when I introduced meth into the equation, which is something I'd never done, that was, a wild ride. That was a month of hell for sure, but that's what did it. I was robbed at knife point on Christmas Eve,
Of 2023?
2023.
Okay, what happened?
Guy wanted my truck that I was living in.
You were just sitting in your car. A guy came up to your truck.
Yeah. Knew him too. There was a homeless encampment behind the motel that I was copying the dope from. So I was driving, back and forth between Savannah and that motel. And I had driven from Savannah back to this motel, was going to just, nod out and do nothing in the parking lot. And I got out for a sec. And a guy from the homeless encampment in the back came forward and, put a knife to my abdomen area and, gave him the key and he took it. And now I don't have a house. Now I don't have anything. And at this point, I was in touch with my family for on and off, but I was in such a bad way, man. My mind was so shot because of the inconsistent sleep due to the speed, and the fentanyl is just so dirty, and so you're just sleeping, man. You're not sleeping, but you're in a stupor all the time. But I began walking literally down the street, just walking down the highway. It was like a little highway similar to like US 1 here, and I'm bawling my eyes out, and I can remember in those moments really asking God, what do I do? What's going to change this? What's going to fix this? What is going to change? And one of the not craziest, but first things I ever heard in treatment that I remember scoffing at and rolling my eyes at. And I'm a big sayings guy now, like little sayings. The best apology is a change in behavior. And I don't know why I remember thinking of that in that moment. I'm just on the spot now thinking of what it felt like now that you ask. And I cried, called my mom. And at that point, I had multiple alumni coordinators and reps and people from treatment calling me nonstop. So I called my mom. I said, I'm done. I'm done. I can't do this. I have nothing. I can't do this. And yeah, it was Christmas Eve. I went into treatment the next day, or actually, no, that evening. And yeah, that was it. Haven't looked back really.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's fucking wild.
Yeah, it's wild. It's what we do.
That was Christmas 2024, 23, 24.
That was Christmas. No, that was Christmas. I think it's 24 actually.
Yeah, it is 24.
No. It can't, because and mind you, I really have been in the program for about, a little over 2 years.
Okay.
But I consider my sober date when I really began titrating Suboxone.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is
should have
23.
explained that.
Yeah, that makes sense. So this is 24.
Yeah.
23.
Yeah.
Christmas 23.
Yeah.
No, all right. So I want to get into tools and everything you implemented to change your life. But
Totally.
actually, just to clarify one thing. So I'm going to assume the first 6 months, we'll call it easy math purposes, you were on Suboxone.
Yep.
And then you end up getting off Suboxone. And that's when you call it your sober date.
Yes, sir.
The first 6 months when you were on Suboxone, did you follow what the doctor had prescribed you?
So I did until I didn't.
Okay.
And what happened was, and what's changed my life, and it's something I'm very, um, not passionate's not the right word, but that I advocate heavily. And I let everyone in the rooms that bring up opiates and buprenorphine in general,
Mhm.
I always pull them aside and have this conversation with them. What saved my life was the injection. Whether you get Sublocade, Brixadi, those are the two major brands right now. That's what saved and changed my life. What got me into a state of severe withdrawal and almost caused a full blown relapse was the strips, the Suboxone strips. I would go down, Kevin, only 2 milligrams, and I would feel like I was in hell. I
Mhm.
would. Now, again, some people can take it. Some people can, manage those withdrawal effects. It varies for everyone, but getting off the buprenorphine strips is a much different ballgame than getting off of the injection.
Yeah.
To date, I may even still have, they say up to a year, you can have metabolites in and
Yeah.
out of your system.
Got it.
Um, so,
Got it. Okay.
yeah.
The reason I'm asking that is because, look, there are people that do like the design of Suboxone. Listen, I got sober the 12-step way, right? Like that's
Me too.
since starting this podcast, I keep an open mind to everyone.
Yeah.
I love everyone. There's no one way to recover. If you are a heroin user, an opiate user, and you get on Suboxone with a plan to get off of it, and you follow the doctor, his direction, and this doctor knows what they're doing, that's sober time. Listen, does it alter your mood a little? Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
But like you have now taken a step to get on something, and you know in your head if you're using it to get high, you're not sober.
Yeah.
Right? But if you are on heroin and you go see a doctor, they put you on Suboxone and say, "Listen, this is going to be a 6-month thing. You are off in 6 months."
Most definitely.
Then you have followed what the doctor has said.
Yeah.
You know if you're being honest or not.
Oh, yeah.
But I respect like, when you started your sober time, when you counted it. But I also empathize with going, I did not go on Suboxone.
Good for you.
I did actually, no, that's a lie. I did a 20-day.
A taper.
Yeah. The first 20 days of my sobriety, because I was on so much opiates and I had to like come down and not go to treatment.
Yeah.
Because I was working a job. I actually don't recommend that for people who are newly sober. Do not do that. Just go away to treatment.
Yeah.
Get treatment. But, and I followed the doctor's orders.
Yeah.
Those 20 days, and I was off of it in 20
And you
days.
felt good.
Felt great.
Wow.
Yeah. He landed me perfectly.
You see, when you do it, and that's the thing, I can look back on it with total transparency and say that I was trying to still control that situation.
Then you were honest with yourself. You finally got honest with yourself.
Yeah.
That's amazing. All right. You get off Suboxone.
Yeah.
Take us through what early sobriety was like. What are some tools that you had to implement?
Off the bat, I can tell you running has changed my life. Exercise daily. Now that I've fallen into this new job, it's began to get a little difficult implementing exercise daily, but I still make time for it. I have to. Went on a little 3-mile run before I came here. I would say in early sobriety for me, a meeting, not necessarily daily, but I was hitting 5 meetings a week, minimum. I mean, I needed it, and it, I wouldn't want to share, but when I did share, I always felt better consistently. And I mean, I really went into the rooms kicking and screaming. I'll say that. My prior grand sponsor, who's such a huge influence in my life, and really, I respect his program just as much as anyone. He would drag me out of my bed of sober living when I was, just withdrawing and, just not. I was, here's the thing, regardless of whether you're withdrawing on a substance or not, it's mind over matter, man. It's mind over matter. And I will say that that's why running was so key for specifically me as an opiate addict that took the route of, titrating off of buprenorphine.
Yeah. Dude, go to the gym and go fucking lift when
Yeah.
you feel like you're detoxing. You will feel so much fucking better. Go do a cold plunge. Go
Yeah.
do sauna. Sweat that shit out.
Yeah.
You'll feel so much better.
Get your mind off it.
Yep.
Get busy, get active.
Community. What kind of community have you built?
Yeah. Well, I will say that, my home group has changed my life for sure. That is my rock, without a doubt. Those guys are super solid. All of them work a rigorous program. And that meeting has actually been around in the Delray area since, I don't know the exact date, but it's been around since the 80s. There's a lot of history there in that meeting as well. But yeah, I would say community-wise, I mean, it's between my home group and also the sober living I went to, the community I have there. I do CrossFit every now and then.
That's great.
Yeah. Yeah. So they have a CrossFit like gym on site now.
Yeah.
Like at the actual sober living.
Yeah.
So,
What do you do on a daily basis, if it's a daily basis, to calm those voices in your head? That's a big one.
yeah, it's a huge one. For me, writing is massive. Writing is so fundamental to my own, not only identity, but just like you're saying, to put me at peace. I definitely journal on a daily basis, but I also, what really gets me into a mindset of like positively moving forward, positively aspiring to be more in a healthy way, is creative writing. That my goal is to successfully publish a second book and a third and a fourth, and move forward with this venture and this storyline that I'm on. So
This was your first book that you just recently published, right?
yes,
Okay, so why don't you tell the audience what the name of your book is, and is it coming out in March?
it's coming out in March. The date is roughly going to be March 15th. It's already available for pre-order on every major platform.
What's it called?
HALT.
HALT. HOLT.
Hungry, angry, lonely, tired.
HALT.
The subtext, title under it, it's HALT, the American Rehab Experience.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. So really quick, other than the book, where are you today and how are things going?
Yeah. Where am I today? I'm in a place that I did not imagine I would get to, in terms of family, in terms of identity, comfort with myself, but more than anything, a place of faith. I never had faith in my life. I wasn't necessarily a full-on atheist, but I was agnostic for sure. I didn't practice anything. I didn't believe in anything. I was definitely living my life like a full-on hedonist, just laissez-faire and no care.
Having faith and purpose
Purpose.
are game changers. When you get
Completely.
clean and sober and you get your life together, you start getting your life back. Once you find the purpose in life, having faith and hope, it's an amazing feeling. And you have that purpose.
Yeah.
It's just, and I found that through helping other people.
Yeah.
That's what I had very low self-esteem. Looking myself in the mirror, knowing that I helped one person each day helped me build my esteem back up.
Yeah.
And I knew who I was, and then I was able to get comfortable with myself.
Love it.
Yeah. Well, go ahead.
I will say that, you know, conversation like this and the you were explaining to me a bit about what you do and have been doing as well prior to us sitting down. That excites me too. Seeing in someone else, passion, real, authentic passion. I like to think I'm an empath and can feel people's energy, and when it's from a place of sincerity. And I appreciate you for having me on here.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate you were an early listener of the podcast. And I appreciate the support, man.
Yeah.
It's full circle, right? Someone who you and I both know Karina. Audience,
Yes.
Karina was on the podcast probably like 5 months ago, 4 months ago, 5 months ago.
Yeah.
And it was funny when she sat down, she goes, "This is so full circle. I like listened to you at a rehab. Like, this is crazy." And like, you're here now sharing your story, but the respect is with the guest. And I respect each and every one of my guests because they're putting themselves out there
Yeah.
in a public forum, this huge audience. Huge audience. No.
It's
No, but like in the public, in the world, right? Just to help someone else. That's it. There's no gains. Like your career is in something that, like, you have
Most
your
definitely.
career and it's like you're doing this just to help someone else.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's a beautiful thing. And I respect you for that. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart.
I appreciate that, Kevin.
Yeah.
And I will say that a game changer for me, my sponsor from the start said, if I'm going to sponsor you, you're going to get on your knees in the morning when you get out of bed, and you're going to get on your knees at the night before you go to bed, and you're going to pray. And I had no idea what I was doing at first. I was just, talking to what felt like myself. And that has changed the dialogue I have with God, and what I deem to be my higher power is one of the most fundamental cores of my life today.
Well, thank you again for coming on, Graham.
I appreciate you.